Hello, this is Viper Bites, and this is our prospect profile series where we're bringing you another NFL prospect ahead of the draft here in 2022. But before we talk about Jahan Dotson here at Penn State, take a second, hit the thumbs up, hit those notifications, and make sure you're subscribed to the Vipers Network on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, whatever the podcasting platform is, make sure to take a second, rate and review us. Now let's get into it here, talking about that wide receiver from Penn State, the one, the only, Jahan Dotson. Now, Dotson was a three-sport athlete in high school, excelling in track and basketball, as well as a little bit of football there on the side. There's a four-star prospect. Hey, but guess what? That track, 4x100 relay teams, they won state both in 2016 and 2018. So you know he's got some speed. He's got some wheels. And you know what? His 40-yard dash, 4.43 seconds. Now, maybe a little undersized, but hey, who's looking at that right now? All we want is good football players. RAS score, 6.31, vertical 36 inches, broad jump 121 inches, three cone 7.28. Now, when we look at his speed score as per player profiler, that comes in at 89.9% there. That is 36th percentile, where that burst score comes in at 121.7. That's in the 53rd percentile. Now, where he excels, he is dominated in college there, 44.3%, 90th percentile with a 20.5 breakout age. Now, when we look at target share, hey, 32.5%, 95th percentile, while his yards per reception was only at 27th percentile. Now, let's take this back to 2018 here, because before you can move to the future, you have to learn from your past. In 2018, you may not realize this, but as a freshman, Jahan Dotson, he shared the field with soon-to-be NFL talents such as KJ Hamler, Jawan Johnson, Pat Freiermuth, which explains why he only had 13 catches for 203 yards and no touchdowns. A stat line that's not exactly oozing confidence, but hey, he had only a 4.7% target share. The target share increased in 2019 to 12.2%, while watching his targets go from 18 to 45. And his receptions, they doubled to 27 while amassing 488 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. Now let's get into 2020, because this is where he starts to make a little bit of noise in that season. In that 2020 year, Big Ten coaches voted him to the third team all-conference at wide receiver, as he was Penn State's leader with 52 receptions, 884 yards, and 8 touchdowns while amassing 17.0 yards per catch in 9 starts. He was also an honorable mention in the punt return game there with 8 returns for 197 yards. That is 24.6 yards per return and 1 touchdown. Now, Dotson, he didn't shy away from the spotlight. No, against Ohio State, he caught 8 passes for 144 yards and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, Ohio State, they weren't stopping him that day. In 9 contests Dotson played, he finished with 100 receiving yards in at least 5 of them. Looking at 2021, his last season at Penn State, he commanded a 30% target share along with a 62% catch rate through 12 games. More impressive, he made plays with some dude named Sean Clifford throwing him the ball. And you know how I feel. I never trust guys with like 2 first names. There's just something weird, especially when it's a scouting thing. I'm sure I'll get into this a little bit later. Maybe it's more my issue than anything else. Now, he saw 146 targets and he hauled in 91 passes for 1,182 yards. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, every season you saw Dotson's numbers increase, not only in receptions, but in receiving yards, targets, and touchdowns, as well as that target share. Now, most touchdowns by a Big Ten receiver since 2019, Chris Olave, 32. Jahan Dotson, 25. And that Dotson, when you look at his PFF grade, 87.5 in 2021 is the highest by a Penn State offensive player going back to 2014. And yes, that 25 touchdowns is more than Garrett Wilson. So something to keep in mind when we're looking at Chris Olave versus Dotson versus Garrett Wilson. Maybe it's something, maybe it's not. Who knows? But I'm throwing it out there anyway. Now, we look at strengths and weaknesses. Instant accelerator, smooth operator, and he can stop and go with the best of them. Works all 3 levels of the field. He has a punt return ability. So once he has the ball in hands and he turns upfield, he's going to make you miss. It's going to happen. Now, he gains and maintains separation by changing speeds. He can lose defenders with his quick feet going in and out of cuts, and he's not afraid to go up and get the ball. And as he said, if you want it, you go get it. Now, his weakness is his routes need a little bit more polishing, as he has a tendency to round them off rather than make them hard and making the underneath defenders able to cut underneath and very dangerous. Once a defender does get his hands on him, he's probably going down, especially at 178 pounds. He can be routed easily, pressed pretty easy. If the defender is physical, you may see him disappear for that play. Now, when I look at the analysis overall here for Jahan Dotson, high IQ player that should flourish despite his physical limitations. He's a smooth route runner that changes speed to separate. If an offensive coordinator can get him into space and away from defenders, it could be a long day for opposing defenses. I think the best player comparison that I have or I have heard in relation to Dotson is that of Emmanuel Sanders, and that's not a bad thing. Sanders has found a way to be a solid, productive receiver throughout his career and contributed to many, many seasons. Heck, he may not be signed yet, but he is going to sign. He is going to find a team here in the offseason at some point. Now, at some point, you need to make sure that you are signing up for the Fantasy Points 2022 NFL Prospect Guide. Film analysis, breakdowns, 200 plus rookie profiles, courtesy of NFL Films, Greg Cassell. You get strengths, weaknesses, NFL transitions, and we know how important that is. You get all those measurables, those combine results, one-stop shop for all your prospect needs, as well as Devy rankings, rookie rankings, you name it, we got it there. And what else we got? We got fantasypoints.com, and we've got a promo code that you can use, Vipers22, and that will save you 10% off that subscription. And again, please turn on those notifications because when news breaks, we got you covered. That's trades, that's signings, whatever it is. We break it down for you right here on the Vipers Network. So you're going to want to make sure you're tuning in for all those breakdowns when they happen. See you next time.